Hey everybody, I got Stuff Alphaletty here, and it's rant time. Like I said, I told you this was coming. I'm here with Set the Bar. He's got his own YouTube thing going as well. Go check it out. And my brother. So we'll be talking about certain things, giving our 2 cents. None of this is factual. We may look and research things up, but for the most part, it's just our opinion. So don't get offended, or do. I don't care. But so this. This is what we're going to do. So we're going to randomize it, and we're going to see what topics we're going to talk about. All right, JoJo, hit it up. What we got? Culture. Polyculture, to be specific. Well, I guess we can do, like, Utah culture, polyculture, like, just
you don't
culture.
want to get into Utah culture.
We'll have a subcategory now. Do random. Now we're going to... Now we got our set. It's culture. We're going to rant about culture. Now I'm going to do subcategories. It's going to be between Utah culture, polyculture, living a mixed life kind of culture. As being, I'm poly, but I'm also white. So we're going to have that kind of culture. So racial, I don't know. While we're doing this whole rant stuff, shout out to Warhammer, because that's our hobby. Everyone should have a hobby. I know this looks like little kid stuff, but... keeps me peaceful, my mind at peace. So screw all you, all right? This is my thing. Find your own thing. But everyone should have a hobby. So while we're ranting, we'll be doing our hobby.
Change their name, the Hood.
The Hood Wolves. He's that hood side. Yeah. All right, hit it. Let's go. What we got? Oh, nice.
Utah?
No, it's landed on mixed. Mixed culture life, baby.
I wanted it to be Utah. I'm ready for the Utah.
Yeah, so we get to hear his perspective, my brother's perspective, and we'll talk about being mixed, because, we're all mutts here in the good old US of A. We're not purebreds. Did you say we're not as, or we are as poly as any other poly, just because we're from the mainland? Yeah, I feel you on that. Because there is that segregation kind of feeling when we I felt it too when
Polynesian blood is Polynesian blood. There you go.
Yeah. That movie Selena, y'all seen that one? Y'all ain't seen Selena? Oh my gosh.
Movie night.
That movie is good, but it explains it so well, mixed culture life. Because she was part white and part Mexican, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not the best at remembering. But her dad explained it to her so well, or her mom. See, I'm not very good. I just remember the quote they said was, you have to be more pure than the pure race. Like, you have to explain, like, you have to prove that you're more Mexican than the Mexicans. And then you also have to prove that you're, I don't know if you got to prove that you're more, I butchered it so bad.
Yes, you did. Retake.
What did he say?
Retake.
That over there. And we got to prove to the Mexicans how Mexican we are, and we got to prove to the Americans how American we are. We got to be more Mexican than the Mexicans and more American than the Americans, both at the same time. It's exhausting.
Got to prove that we're more poly than the polys, but also be more American than the Americans. That's what I was getting at, JoJo. That was a huge side rant, but I felt that. I felt that.
50 Jamaican, black, a little bit white, and then everywhere I go to, I have to fit into that stereotype of what type of black guy are you? And if I don't act hood enough, then I'm whitewashed. But if I don't act whitewash enough, then I can't get a job.
Poly functions. We've got some that have traced their ancestry from the island, or they're from the island, or they're just darker than you, Well, I'm a lighter skinned poly, so I've always felt at the odd end of the spectrum because they're
See,
but I do fall back on my features, though, is what saves me.
just they'll see me, be like, oh yeah, you're poly, and they'll see our mom and be like, oh, she's not poly, she's white.
Yeah.
And clearly that's
Our mom's
you know that's my mom. Don't say that she's not poly.
Our mom is very white, genes. The white genes in our family is very strong. JoJo stole. We always make a joke. JoJo steals all the dark color and the long hair, And me and my sister got the features. Like, we just look poly. That's always funny. Because my mom has the features, but she's a ginger. And she's super white. But she's 50-50. She's 50 Tongan, 50 white. And she looks mostly white. Yes, these stuff. And you always feel like out of place at like a event where you get those purebreds that think they're more than you are. They weigh more than you are. Like their word is better than your word. But to an extent, sometimes, because we didn't get raised poly. My grandpa came straight from the island, so he's straight from Tonga.
He said he didn't want to raise us like that. So.
Yeah, he was like, nah, you're in America, you're gonna be American. So he didn't teach the language, didn't teach the customs, didn't teach any of that. So I always thought I was white growing up, to be honest, because my mom was white. I thought I was white until she explained, no,
definitely did not think
poly.
that I was white.
Yeah, you didn't think, but you were dark. I was light skinned growing up. I was like, I'm white.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, when we do like family outings and stuff, like all the polys would see me and be like, "Oh yeah, he's poly."
Yeah.
All the polys see the rest of my family and they're like, "Oh yeah, they're white." Like, no,
it's true.
No, they ain't just white.
Like I only fit in because I got bigger, kind of thing. Like I got built, and then the moment I knew that I was a little different than the other polys was in gym class, and we're all changing, and I had pink nipples, and all the other polys had dark nipples. And I was like, wait. What the? And then they started making fun of me because I had pink nipples. They all started calling me, yeah, I had pink nipples. I was like,
you should have said you were just new gen.
Well, I was so caught off guard. I was like, why are my nipples big, bro? I was like, what the heck? I used to get so upset about that and be like,
to your mom, like, what's wrong with
me? Used to freaking, it was to the point where like I was getting like, oh, you're Hispanic kind of things. I was like, what the I would get so offended. People were like, "Oh, aren't you Hispanic?" Or like one of my football coaches called me Alfredo one time. Holy shit! All the polys ate that up. They started laughing at me, clowning me. I was like, "This is unfair."
Thanks, coach.
Mixed life is hard. It is hard. Funny, polys don't treat you like you're full poly if you don't look full poly, and then white people treat you like you're some other thing when you don't look full white. So I would be hanging out with white people and like their parents or friends would ask me like, oh, what do polys do? Or what's this? Or your take on this? Or what's this? And I'm over here guessing because I'm like, I wasn't raised poly for one. And for another, like I was kind of not in with the poly crowds. Like every time I went to a poly function, it was like, I just sat in the corner and no one taught me anything. And I would hear the language. That's the thing. Everyone would speak in their native tongue. So I would sit in the corner and I'd just be like, what is going on? So I was always like, oh, these cultures are so boring. Because I would sit there, I wouldn't understand a word they're saying, and I would just sit there, and I would be hungry. And that's the thing. Everyone's eating, and I was told not to talk. So I couldn't ask for food. So I just sat there. I felt out of place. Because everyone's freaking just speaking Tongan, doing their own thing. Like, all the younger kids would be like, hush, hush. Like, I would see them get smacked. Like, if they acted out, you'd hear a little shh, and I would be like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. So I just sat there quietly. Ouch. Time we went and there was a line for a banquet. Like, we were all standing in line. My uncle's there. He's Afakasi, but he looks white. My mom's there, Afakasi. Like, all my aunties, uncles, all Afakasi. And they're all standing there. We're all waiting in line. And a poly family's in front of us. They all look poly, like they're all dark and stuff. And her kid's acting out, so she yells at him, smacks him upside the head, then looks at us and goes, oh, I'm sorry, I don't always smack him. Treating us like we're like caring, like white people are going to be like, oh, how dare you call child services. And my uncle started laughing. He was like, oh, it's okay. And then smack me.
Like, yeah, we grew up like that and we don't know it. It doesn't help that
no one
we didn't have anyone there to like take us, give us the first step.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They just expect us to
like
know.
It falls on both. So if you're not trying to get into the culture, it's on you. But at the same time, if the culture is not trying to help you learn, like no one's coming to you to teach you Samoan or Tongan, or no one's coming to you to be like, hey, what are you doing? Like accepting you into the group. Because a lot of times I would show up and they're like standoffish. Like some poly would look at you, give you, and you would like give them the nod, like like respect, like saying hi or like hey, give them like recognition, respecting their presence, and they will give you a dirtiest look of just like, what are you doing here? Those guys, those are the ones or people that I'm like, nah, you guys are jerks.
Let's see. Well, I didn't grow up in a a Jamaican rich environment.
True.
Like, basically, my family was most of Jamaicans. So whenever we have family events, somewhat, so you like go there, everyone's speaking Jamaican. Only positive side is that Jamaican is close enough to English that if you hear it enough, you can actually understand it.
Start to get it. Yeah.
But I'd never been to Jamaica. Everyone else in my family's been to Jamaica. I try to learn more about the culture, but like I said, it's like no one's there to teach you it. Yeah. You don't go, you don't get to learn it. Mm-hmm. So Caribbean Islanders are different than like I guess your standard African Americans, but granted, we all have the same skin color, so it's like you're always assumed to be that first. And then I just got tired of like correcting people.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just one or the other. But I'm gonna start going grow up my hair, get some Rasta stuff.
Heck yeah.
People are less afraid of Jamaicans. They think Jamaicans.
Should they be afraid of Jamaicans?
Nah, people love Jamaicans.
Okay.
Like, granted, I get to have to take the urinalysis test every time, but
yeah, he has to take a pee test, little drug test. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I told my boss one time, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, all right, well, like you put on your thing for culture, you put others. Like, what's that? It's like, I'm Caribbean Islander. It's like, oh, like what island? Jamaica. It's like, okay. Oh, okay. And then like later on, it's like, hey man, how come I gotta keep on taking piss tests every other month? No reason.
Mixed thing that I don't think you faced it, but me and JoJo's faced is when we tell
our face.
Okay, true. But what we faced was we tell people, oh yeah, we're poly, and they're like, okay, what kind? And we're like, Tongan and Samoan. And that's when
and
then
immediately
another kind of word.
We get the most dirtiest look into my face and we're like, oh, you both?
Oh, you half-breeds.
Oh,
yeah, so
disgusting.
we get like the trifecta of we're not white, we're not Samoan, we're not Tongan. We're just like this big old bag of you a mutt. And yeah, there's another can of worms because apparently, from my upbringing of understanding, is Tongans and Samoans don't like each other, which makes no sense to me. I always get the dirty, and then they ask, "So which side do you prefer?" And I'm like, "What?" Claim one of part of me and discard the other part of me.
So you gotta take one.
That's what I used to get heat for it growing up. So I would used to whatever group I knew who I was talking to, I would say that side. If the Tongans were talking to me like, "Oh, what are you?" I'd be like, "I'm Tongan."
I do.
And then when I'm with Samoans, I'm Samoan. Like I just stopped saying I was both because then but then it doesn't help my name. My first name is Samoan. My last name is Tongan. So when I tell them my first name, they're like, "Huh?" I'm like, yeah, I'm both. Or if they hear my last name, they're like, what?
My first name is White, and then my last name is Samoan.
Call me by my last.
Glad mine is Samoan, but the English version isn't much better. It's Fred.
Alfred at that.
Alfred. I'm freaking Batman's butler. Alfred, baby. Hey, let's go though. I'll take that.
Culture. I love the culture.
If you ask me, would you have rather been born full like Tongan or Samoan? I would say no. No. I like being born how I am.
Sticking my roots.
Yeah, our grandpa came from Tonga at 18.
He came over at the end of the war.
Yeah, which is crazy.
World War II?
Yeah. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's when he came.
He came over
at the end of
came to Cali. He says he wanted a better life. Tonga wasn't a better life.
Hey, I want a white.
He's like, nah, I want. I guess. But you're mixed.
Yeah, if you a mutt, you be fine.
You be fine. You actually are better off because you get different perspectives. You're not stuck in that square of pride for one nation, which is cool to have pride for one nation. Sorry, no. But at the same time, you understand things a little differently. Like pride for one nation.
You're adaptable.
Yeah.
I like to think of it like just letting everybody know I'm left-handed, living in a right-handed world. So you have to be adaptable. Yeah, you got to learn how to be left-handed, learn both ways, just enough to stay afloat. So it makes you more tolerant of other races. You're more tolerant of your own. You, like I said, you can't claim one more than the other, but you're multi-talented for the most part.
Yeah, multi-talented. And you just liked everyone because you knew you didn't fit in with just one set of people because for some reason or the other, maybe they didn't treat you like you fit in, or only a few of them kept you as a close friend because they were accepting of you because of who you were, not because of what you looked like. But there are certain groups that I have felt when I went to their group that they didn't like me because I didn't look a certain way, or I didn't act a certain way. So go mixed people. We're the superior race.
I also got one thing to say.
What?
To those people that have accepted the mutts, we love you.
Yeah, y'all real people. Y'all
the real ones.
Y'all what's a hot take? I just feel like some purebreds though, they go off the hinges and are racist. You know, it's not white people that do it too. You know, only
I could say that
like
any race can be racist.
Any race out there.
Any race.
I guess that's all the stuff we gotta say about it. So, thank you all for listening, and share your stories in the comments. Don't be afraid to say whatever you want because this is America. America.
Sure.
I got you coming up.
If you don't like our opinion, go ahead and say it.
But hey, thanks for watching if you stayed with us this whole time. It was all over the place. But this is our first video, so it'll get better.
No.
Shut up, Joe. Thank y'all.